the dynamics are very, very different, even from, parents who may have young ones who left high school only 10 years ago. That's the biggest thing I see, is they assume it's like it was when they were there, and it's so much different.
Well, part of our conversation with school counselors this week was about how to tackle mental health challenges in Central Texas school districts. Now, you just heard there from a Bastrop ISD counselor, part of our Save Our Students project. And this morning, we're happy to be joined by Dr. Eric Wright, the superintendent of Hays Consolidated ISD. And that counselor spoke to the need of an approach to mental health that has evolved over time. They say it changed even to just 10 years ago. So my question with you would be, what has changed, do you think, during this past 10 years in terms of mental health and dealing with students on campus?
I think just the lack of interaction between students. We see so many students with electronic devices and video games, and they interact virtually more so than face-to-face, and so I think that's one of the most significant changes. So
do you feel that there is, because one of the things I've always wondered is there a difference in mental health among students these days, or do we just talk about it more? Because I think there was not much talk of this when I was in high school, but it's an important issue now. Do you think that social media and those devices are the driving factor in that?
I think that is a variable for sure. I don't think it was noted as much. I think people have had mental health concerns throughout history, but now it's obviously in the limelight, and so it's something that we have to focus on and deal with. And so at Hays, we're really working with an initiative called 100% Hays to make sure that every single kid is involved in something, so that they will have an adult advocate as well as other students in their group. So whether it's fine arts or athletics or ag or whatever it may be, a club activity, we want them involved with other human beings, so that they won't feel invisible, and so that they'll actually value other human beings.
I would imagine this has become a much bigger part of your job than it was when you first became an educator and an administrator. Absolutely.
It was something that used to happen organically, and now it's something that we're trying to make sure that we implement and make sure that we don't leave any kids behind.
So you guys have also introduced a policy about no cell phones in class. You've been pretty strict about taking them away and finding students for that. Is that all part of that larger idea? It's not just no cheating or being on your phone, but to get kids to interact more as well?
Well, actually that stemmed from my student advisory council, and some students came forward, and I asked them the question. I said, what's the number one distraction in the classroom? And they said, cell phones. They said, you guys allowed us to bring our own devices, and in theory we thought it was going to be great, but what happens is we look at our cell phone, and about 30 minutes later, after we've researched the topic, we've looked at all our social media alerts, and we have to circle back around, and we've lost 30 minutes worth of time. And so the students said, the other kids are probably not going to like us very much, but at the same time, we recommend that we do away with cell phones, except for when the teacher really wants us to utilize that device.
I have heard parents push back, though, saying, look, I gave my kid this phone because I want them to be able to get in touch with me. Did you get much of that from parents as well?
No, because we didn't ask that the kid not have the cell phone on them. We just asked that it not be present during instruction. And so, if there were a situation where there was an emergency, then the parents would still be able to get a hold of them.
So during this past legislative session, the legislature passed a new school finance bill, changed the way schools are funded. At first glance, at first blush, what is your opinion of it so far, how it's worked?
Hey, we're elated. There are still some kinks to be worked out. We can't see all the modules in the new finance template, but the fact that we had an increase in the basic allotment really helped us out. We haven't had an increase in revenue in years, and so we're very, very thankful and really blessed to be able to pass that on to teachers who are underfunded anyway as far as their salaries are concerned. I think Texas was ranked 43 in the nation, and I think that we boosted up a little bit, and we had a board meeting last night, and we approved our final compensation plan, and we were able to give teachers a 6.13% increase in pay, which ranges anywhere from $3,200 to $3,650 based on experience. So very thankful we could pass that on, because they're what makes public education strong.
Dr. Eric Wright, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Best of luck for this school year.
This is
A digital exclusive as part of our Save Our Students series. I'm here with Dr. Eric Wright from Hayes CISD. I'm Alyssa Goard. Dr. Wright, the first thing that I wanted to ask you about, we got some questions from some viewers, and one of our viewers on social media wanted to know from you, how do you identify students early on when there are students who need extra mental health support in the district?
Typically, they are identified through absenteeism, through grade decreases, through just different type of behavioral outbursts or disciplinary issues. And so they typically cry out for help in one way or the other, and it manifests itself in different forms for different kids, because all of them are different. But typically that's what we notice, and that's what we train our teachers to be on alert for.
Your district seems to have particularly close relationships with local law enforcement when it comes to promoting safety and security. Do you feel that's true?
Absolutely. We are right in the center between the Texas School Safety Center at Texas State, and then we have a lot of different law enforcement agencies and entities, and I feel like with the formation of the Standard Response Protocol, and we just hired our new Director of Safety and Security, Jerry Scrocky, who was recognized by the governor for her work in creating the Standard Response Protocol. I feel like we kind of have an inside track, and it really helps us understand what first responders see as compared to our vision from inside the school district, so that we help make things just more user-friendly for them.
And Jerry's position, as you mentioned, was that started after, in the follow-up of the Santa Fe shooting? It
was. We were fortunate that we were able to get her, but the funding came through as a result of some of the safety efforts from the national and the state level.
For you guys as a district, hearing about what happened in Santa Fe, does that change how you move going forward? Absolutely.
I mean, you know, it could happen to any of us at any time, and so we need to be as prepared as possible. And so we take our drills very serious. We, you know, back in the day we used to do virtual drills. Now we don't. We do interactive drills, and we try to make sure that we do them at all times during the day. And we're always looking for ways to enhance it and make it better. And one idea that we're floating right now is utilizing former veterans that can come and help us at different times in the day. And so I know our emergency management coordinator in Hayes County is working on reaching out to veterans so that they can come and volunteer. And so that way we'll have even more presence on the campuses, and hopefully we'll make people feel safer and actually make us safer.
Is there anything else when it comes to safety, security, mental health, and wellness in your districts that you want people to know about?
Yeah, the largest initiative that we've started is our 100% Hayes initiative, and it means that we want 100% of our kids connected to other human beings. So we want a teacher advocate or a sponsor or a coach, someone that they have a close relationship with, where when they're having difficult times they can go and speak to them and feel like they'll be valued and heard.
Dr. Eric Wright with Hayes CISD, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, thank you.